leaders, and welcome to our 8 Steps of Change exercise for our Leadership Society here at Northampton Community College. So to start off, we're going to get on with our quote of the day, which states, "To exist is to change is to mature is to go on creating oneself endlessly." And that is by Henry Bergson, who was a French philosopher and a winner of a Nobel Prize in Literature. So as we walk through these 8 steps today, I want you all to know that they were developed by Dr. John Cotter. He is considered a thought leader in business and management. He was a professor at Harvard School of Business, one of the most elite business colleges in the world. He was also a best-selling author, and today he's the chairman of his own company, which helps businesses come up with innovative management solutions to some of the challenges that they're facing. While we're going through these 8 steps, I want you to think of a change that you would like to see in your family, your job, a club you're involved with, a team, any group or community that you're a part of, and think of a change that you'd like to see. And since we're also doing some self-reflection, I'd like you to have some way of taking notes as you go through this video. So our first step in the 8 steps of creating change is creating an urgency for change. So at this step, we should aim to brainstorm why we need change in our group and what those changes should be, and ultimately why it's important that we start doing things this new way. So during this stage, we should be seeking to answer the question, why do we need to do it this new way instead of what we're already currently doing? And as we think about creating our change and developing it, it's important to keep in mind that Dr. Cotter estimates that at least 75% of individuals need to be on board with your idea for it to be successful. So, for example, if there are 25 people on your soccer team, 18 or 19 of them should agree with the change in order to make it happen. So we want to think about something that's going to be helpful and meaningful to a large group of people. Which brings us to our first reflection question. And feel free at any point during the reflections to pause, finish writing out your answer, and then press play on the video so you can continue. So our first question is, what change would you like to make in your organization or group? Why is it important that this change happens? So moving right along, we're going to head right into step 2, which is forming a powerful coalition. So to be honest, it's going to be pretty difficult to manage a big change completely by yourself. You're going to need other people who are willing to help you out. Specifically, when you're first getting started, you really want to convince people who have decision-making powers. So we're thinking about your boss, your supervisor, your coach, your professor, your club advisor, that the change that you want to implement is something important and helpful for the group. It's also important to share your message with other people who may have a similar status to you. So you might want to talk to your coworkers, your club members, people on your team. They will help you spread the news about your change to individuals that you might not know or might not have had the chance to talk with yet. So our next reflection question is, who has decision-making power in your group or organization? Who can help you spread your mission? And how will you convince these people to agree to your change? Step 3 is creating a vision. You could have the best idea in the world, but it's going to be very hard to convince others unless you present them with a full, complete, and well thought out plan for change. That way, you are able to share really what you want that change to be. And when you're communicating your vision to others, it should be easy to understand and professional. So that means if you've written it down, it should be double checked for spelling errors and grammatical mistakes, and should represent your best effort. If you're speaking to someone, you should do your best to come across as confident and professional. This would also be a great time to utilize your coalition from the previous step. Maybe there's someone who can help you write up a vision, or a friend you know who's really good at public speaking and can help you if you don't have those strengths necessarily. So our next reflection question. Create a SMART goal that represents the change that you want to see in your organization. And as a reminder, SMART means specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. So step 4 is communicating the vision. So once you have your vision for change, you have your SMART idea all written down, it's important to share it with as many individuals in the organization that you can. It's also very important in this step to remind yourself that there might be competing ideas that are also being shared. We live in a country that allows everyone to have freedom of thought and freedom of expression, and everyone brings a bit different view and strength to the group. So everyone might have different ideas on how to make your group better. While it's important to be firmly grounded in why you believe that your idea may be the best, it's also important to be open to sharing ideas, to compromising where possible, and allowing yourself to make sure that your idea is the most robust that it could be. So our next reflection question: how can you best share your vision? Over social media, in a group meeting, in a one-on-one phone call or meeting? How can you let other people know what you'd like to see change? So step 5 is removing obstacles. So with any change, there are going to be some difficulties that you're going to have to face, and maybe some people might not be enthusiastic or on board. It's going to be important for you to plan ahead, to think about how you'll address those difficulties before they arise. That way, you're reducing some of the stress in your life, and you also avoid some unnecessary conflict. Again, like we've been talking about, there are some important things to keep in mind, and for this step, it's important to realize that there might be specific rules for your organization or certain circumstances like funding or budgeting that might not be able to be removed. You might have to be flexible, work around them, and find ways to get the most out of the experience while respecting that these boundaries exist. So for this reflection question, I want you to brainstorm one challenge or obstacle that you might face when trying to implement change. How do you plan on handling it? Step 6 is creating short-term wins. So change is often implemented slowly. It's unlikely that we're going to get everything we want or see a radical change over the course of a week, a month, or even a year, depending on how big our plan is. So as a result, it's important that we manage our expectations. We want to have a realistic view of the timeline that might happen. Otherwise, we may get disappointed, frustrated, or we might even give up. Instead of getting trapped in that cycle of giving up or feeling frustrated, we want to find small wins that we can celebrate and that indicate that we're headed in the right direction. So a great example I have listed here: if you're on the soccer team and you all want new sweatshirts to wear to games, that's a big goal to have. It requires funding, money, licensure, design, ordering things. So a good small win to look at would be the process of meeting a fundraising goal. So getting enough money so that you can begin to design and purchase the sweatshirts that you want. In this reflection, I want you to name 3 small wins you may experience on your way to your overall goal of change. How can you celebrate them in your organization or your group? Step 7 requires building on change. Many change processes, like I said, stop or fade out because people become compliant, they become frustrated, they become stagnant. They settle for only a little bit of change, rather than going full steam ahead on the real change that they wanted to see. As a leader, when you're advocating for change, it's really important that you motivate yourself and others to avoid settling. And a great way to do that is reminding the team of the larger picture, celebrating small wins like we discussed before, continuing to spend time and dedicating time in your schedule to creating change, and refining your vision, so being flexible and being willing to adapt as new information or new circumstances arise. All ways that you can keep on building change and making sure you'll see the final result that you want. So for this one, what is one way you can motivate your team or organization when they're no longer as excited or motivated to work for change? And then step 8, anchor the change in the culture. So for change to be effective, it has to be able to outlast one leader or one group of individuals. So change is helpful, but you don't want change to just stay for the time that you're on the soccer team or the time that you work at your job at the CVS. You would hopefully want to see that change continue for a long time. So that way it's important to incorporate change into the future direction of your organization. So for example, especially ones that are really applicable to the college experience, is incorporating change into transition or training materials you might pass along to new employees or new officers and clubs. Another part is putting change into corporate policy or a club constitution, and your advisor could be very helpful in that process. And then the last one is working with individuals new to the organization to get them on board and to keep change going. So our last reflection question is, how can you make sure your change will last beyond your experience in your job, club, team, etc.? And that is our final reflection for the day. So I hope you've taken away a really solid idea of how you could be a positive agent for change, the steps that you need to bring about that change in your organization, your club, your team, your job, whatever community that you're in. And I hope you're excited and ready to take on this challenge, knowing that you're going to impact other people and impact your organization for the better. Thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.